I would say that the support from world leaders has been pretty deafening with its silence in the main. Do you wish you'd had more vocal support from maybe the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, the American President Joe Biden? Would that be helpful?
Look, Piers, in my 3.5 years as Prime Minister, I discovered one thing, that this morality and the so-called Western values about democracy, constitutionalism, rule of law, fundamental rights against custodial torture, all that is happening in Pakistan today. Yet, I think the interests of the powers, Britain, the US, I think they are more aligned with our military for whatever reasons, maybe because they're supporting them in Ukraine. I always wanted an independent foreign policy because 80,000 Pakistanis died when we joined the US war on terror, and I was against it. So I think maybe that they feel that their interests are more served by the current regime. And whenever that happens, all these professed values go out of the window.
I mean, Rishi Sunak is currently in Washington with President Biden. What's your message to both of them if they're watching this?
My message is simple. Firstly, countries only sort their problems out from within. But the professed values of United States and United Kingdom, I repeat, is democracy, is fundamental rights, rule of law. I mean, whenever they criticize Hong Kong or China with the Uyghurs or Russia, they always talk about the lack of human rights and fundamental rights and lack of democracy. But here's one standard for democracy. And all these values are being violated, yet not a word from them. But, I didn't really expect much.
Imran, on a human level, I've spoken to you after people tried to kill you, and they came very close to killing you. That was just 6 months ago or so. You've got a family, you've got these 2 young sons. You tweeted recently, the only thing I miss these days is hiking in our northern mountains with my sons. And that was a very human thing to tweet. And I, as a father of 3 boys, not dissimilar age to yours now, that really resonated with me. How are you doing on a human level?
Well, it's a huge sacrifice, because what is happening right now is we are basically fighting for rule of law and democracy. On the other hand, we now have, we are heading towards the worst type of dictatorship. It's a banana republic right now, where the judges now are no longer independent. They are threatened. Media is completely muzzled. My name is not allowed to be mentioned on the media. And you can't demolish the biggest political party by the steps they've taken, these draconian steps. So therefore, what is at threat is our democracy, our future. So there's no, this has been one of the most toughest years of my life.
Are you able to see your sons?
No, I can't. This is too dangerous a time for me to ask them to come over. And I'm confident that this is not going to last very long, because the system cannot take this much longer. The judiciary is overawed right now. It's cowed down, but the judiciary has a past 15 years, it's asserted its independence. So at the moment, it's the terror, which is in Pakistan, it's a reign of terror. I mean, people are frightened. People are picked up in the middle of the night. It's like in the Nazi Germany.
Imran, each time I talk to you, I'm always reminded that I spent my formative years down at Sussex County Cricket Ground watching you bowling magnificently for Sussex, and you were one of my sort of heroes then, cricketing heroes. Do you ever wish you just hadn't gone into politics? I mean, serious question. Given the impact on your life, the danger, the threats, the assassination attempts and so on, do you ever wish you just, had an easier life?
But Piers, look, in Pakistan, there are 2 ways. One is when you go into politics as a political career. In my opinion, it is the worst career to ever choose. I would never suggest politics as a career to anyone, as a career. Secondly, is the politics where you You are so privileged. I had more respect than any other Pakistani. And I tried, what I wanted to do was by the way, what I first saw and admired in England when I went there as a teenager, rule of law. We never had rule of law in this country because we had dictatorship. Either we had dictatorship or two families, but they never allowed people to have rule of law where fundamental rights were protected. And as a result, the country is not, we never knew freedom, real freedom. First time I saw was in England when I went as a teenager, and I discovered how rule of law and fundamental rights liberate a whole people. So my movement started 27 years ago. I realized that unless we have rule of law, we have no future.
Well, Imran, you will always have a berth on Piers Morgan Uncensored. I've spoken to you numerous times in the last year. It's been a quite extraordinary period in your life, and I'm living it vicariously, sitting here safely in London. I wish you all the very best, and hope next time I talk to you,
Piers.
it's in a slightly calmer circumstance.
Inshallah. Thank you.